Yo boys, back with another video. Today we're actually be doing a different video today. I know a lot of people might have been waiting for these, but these are finally the first Wrath Arenas. I've actually done a few before this with Looking for Group, and it is pretty brutal, I'm not gonna lie. Like, even with, I mean, we thought we'd be pretty fine, but like, facing the type of geared people that we're facing, obviously these are the wins. But like, when we lost, people somehow had like 26,000 HP. So I don't know if people are just rocking like if they're just were hard stuck like 1300 and we're just stacking up conquest to get gear or what's going on, but I mean overall the games were good, but we were just facing so many paladins, DKs, and warriors that were just maxed out on gear that they just wouldn't take any damage. We'd pop all of our, damage to them, and they would go from 100% to like 90. And we faced this one shaman. He must have been second full Brazil because he would not take any damage. As you can see, we ended up sapping him here. And this Boomy actually ended up one-shotting us. Or it was kinda, I mean, as you will see here in a second, I don't know what type of Boomy this is he was running. This is at not even like, this is like a 700 CR team or whatever. And somehow he just done unhealable damage. I don't know, it was Starfall that just legit soloed. He ends up getting a sap on me. Kind of works. His Starfall ends up breaking it. Look at our HP right now. So he ends up trinketing a cheap shot. The Starfall breaks it. I probably didn't have to trinket, but I was like, if it was now or never. I ended up cloaking. I didn't think I'd have to vanish. Thankfully, my cheat death procced because I could have just died. So his damage right now, the way he just killed us was with Starfall right now. So here I'm trying to eat a little bit. I'm going to sap him if he comes over. Thankfully, his trees don't AoE. So I somehow just couldn't sap randomly. So as you can see, it just wouldn't let me sap. It was bugging. But I'm just basically eating up, waiting for some cooldowns. Basically just waiting for Shadow Dance. Thankfully, he wasn't, maxed out gear, because if he was, I probably wouldn't have done any damage. He's probably not running any Resil. I mean, here I didn't really do that much damage, but, I mean, it's not like I'm using Shadow Dance or anything, so I ended up running here, because I kind of had to wait for my Shadow Dance in order for me to kill him. Trying to get a re-stealth, I ended up getting another sap on him, so, noise. We're end up opening here, I think, I think I wait for Kinney, and I end up opening with the ambush into a Kinney, so for some reason my Gladius is covering up my DRs, so it's kind of annoying. So I end up killing him right here. Insane gameplay right there. The first 1v2 on Wrath. Lol. But here's a game where the DK is just... Thankfully, I don't think the priest was that good. This guy ends up flying. Insane. We end up sapping him here, so I sap him. My tricks is like, I need to be close for him to get it, and then it also targets him. So here we end up opening. I don't know, obviously, I'm not a Wrath Pro or anything, so I don't really... I should have already evasion and cloaked. Because as you can see, I get 150 right there with 2 attacks. So 2 globals, and I end up having to vanish. I instantly vanish. For some reason, my cloak doesn't take off my bleeds anymore. So I don't know if it's bugged or if my bleeds are just auto-stayed on. Or maybe it was after my cloak, I wasn't really paying attention. So I end up almost dying here to bleeds. So that kind of sucked. It procs my cheat death, I'm pretty sure. Actually, never mind. It actually doesn't. I end up trying to eat. My guy's getting solo by the DK. It is annoying facing DKs, but it is what it is. I end up juking him off the side here. So, really good. I end up trying to eat a little bit. So, he has Trinket, but we have Silence. So, this is like our only chance to kill him here. I end up pre-sapping him here so my Mage can pre-sheep, or he can sheep the DK. We end up opening here. This is like our last chance to win here. I end up using my hands thing here to... I have it like, and it was like engineering. It puts like a rocket into his face. I end up blinding the DK here, and then we're gonna cheap shot. I try to get a re-stealth. I think I ambush first, we'll see. I end up resapping, so my mage keeps forgetting that there's no ramp, because obviously we're used to retail. So we're used to having a ramp there. This guy ends up using his pre-shield. And my guy actually does a lot of damage here. I actually do a lot of damage as well. So this is one time that we absolutely just... My guy hit a huge frostball, and I end up doing a huge dam. So this is a game where these guys were in R gear. So this is an R gear definition. So I thought so what I wanted to do is I wanted to sap the lock and then my guy just come up and spell steal like you would on retail. But apparently you can't spell steal unless there's something to spell steal. So like you can't just spell steal air anymore. So I wanted him to do that and obviously he can't. So my guy ends up getting the Mage, or maybe I get sapped out. We'll see what happens here. So my guy's basically 1v1ing. He ends up getting cake. The rogue opens here. I'm going to blind him. I'm going to cheap. And then he trinkets cheap. And then he gets instant kidneyed and absolutely gets destroyed. So them being in our gear, we absolutely farm them. I don't know if it's just every rogue, but I faced a rogue with actual gear. and he apps like he killed me in a cheap shot. Like he ambushes me for like 7Ks. Like I don't know. I don't. I mean, I didn't think gear would be that much of an issue, but apparently, like, if you have Nax weapons and all the Nax best and slot on top of that, you have like Conquest gear. I feel like we every time we faced somebody like that, we just absolutely got destroyed. They wouldn't take any damn, and then when it connected on us, we would just be dead in like 3 seconds. So here we end up. I wanted to go Druid, but I was like, whatever. Let's just open Warlock, and then we can either blind swap or we can just full send the Warlock. Which this guy was actually in our gear as well, so I end up tricksing here, and then Druid opens. My guy ends up silencing him, so he ends up just getting 100 dead. My guy silenced him afterwards, and at that point, he was already dead. So this is a game to where we almost lose, but thankfully my mage comes through. I end up sapping the DK. He ends up trinketing. I end up trinketing my guy before I open. We end up getting a solid opener here. I end up we end up getting double trinket, and I shouldn't use my shadow dance then. I should have waited until I connected to use my shadow dance. I end up killing him. Usually so the shaman would be dead here, but he should already be dead if we had gear. My guy has burst up. He should be toaster oven. But unfortunately, obviously, it doesn't work like that when you have gear. I end up disarming the DK, but obviously DK's damage is all based around pet, so he ends up auto attacking me because his bleeds are soloing me. The shaman ends up hitting me super hard. My guy should have frost nova the pet here, so I would have not died, but it's okay. You know, my guy does it a little bit late, but whatever. At that point, the DK doesn't really have much. He is iceborn. He ends up iceborning at 100%. So he uses it right now for basically no reason, I'd say. He also uses both of his defensive cooldowns. Legit, I don't know who does this. He uses both of his CDs for no reason. My guy's hitting fat frost bolts on him. My guy still has block and Evo, so we're still pretty chilling, but he is a DK with a little bit of gear, so never underestimate him. My guy ends up blocking. This guy uses his anti-magic shield on block. Oh my god. My guy actually ends up almost losing, so he gets a really good silence off the block. Look at this guy's damage, because my guy has no gear. He's in blues. So he almost gets 100 0. Thankfully, he gets a huge evocate. That's the only reason he lived, because the pet would have soloed him. He ends up almost dying. He kites the pet out, he frost novas it, and he actually, gets the job done. Here's a game to where we kind of waited a little bit, and then we realized, whatever, we're just going to open priest. Because with our gear, we can't really do, swap goes, because if I don't use my damage, like, correctly, then, same with him. If he doesn't, then we legit just lose. He ends up trinketing. So this guy was running a trinket actually, but he used it on my cheap shot instead of waiting. So we just blind, and then the druid's not running a trinket, so we end up killing him here. So this guy was running a trinket. When I inspected him after the arena, because he was in by the queue, he wasn't running a trinket, but apparently, yeah, he trinketed a cheap shot. So yeah, huge dub for us. We take those. And then let's see here. This is a game where we actually just done unhealable dam, and we actually just killed him in the opener. I end up getting a sap on the DK here. So I sap the DK. Now I should wait until my mage gets here to open, but I was like, okay, my guy's coming in through, so whatever. I kinny, and then I'm gonna tricks my teammate, and then as you can see, my guy's gonna silence off the trinket, and as soon as he does that, it's already GG. But since it's obviously a DK, the game's not over yet. I end up evasioning, but I feel like evasion doesn't really matter that much versus a DK, well, because it bleeds do unhealable dam. But my guy pops off again with his damage. He ends up going for the unhealable dam. Honestly, he probably could have saved his burst until I had stun. But and then for some reason this guy was healing a lot. So I don't know if there's like if their heals do actually like if it's like DK retail with their heals. But this guy was like he went from 30 to like 90. We'll see if it shows it here. So I end up waiting here for a second. He icebound, so I'm just gonna sit and wait. He ends up he uses his gargoyle, which is like his unhealable down. That's like the only time he can actually like 100 you instantly. My guy actually silences it and then frost novas it. I end up getting a huge kidney, and I think this is where he just does a ton of healing. So I should have. So as you can see, he goes from 20 to 90%. Thankfully, my guy gets some huge frost bolts off here. So if you guys have any tips in the comments, let me know, because obviously I haven't done any actual real arenas. This is the first time I've actually played with like a friend and actually like somebody who actually knows how to like move their character. So I'm still, learning. By no means am I the best, or I'm not even gonna say I'm the best. I'm a noob right now. I'm not gonna lie. So we end up getting disperse here. He gets a really good sheep on the disperse. So I end up getting a re-stealth, or trying to. As you can see, my Gladius is covering my DRs, so I can't actually see you know, when everything's off DR, it's kind of like covered. So I need to fix that and see, you know, how to fix that. I'm gonna check through the Gladius because something's, you know, wrong. But we end up getting a really good kidney. He ends up trinketing a 3-second kidney because obviously I couldn't tell. I end up getting a vanish cheap shot. I still have another vanish in the box. I could let's see what happens. I end up gouging the pet because obviously these pets gonna. He ends up trinketing my blind. I actually almost ended up dying to this guy because this guy's decent gear. He has 20k HP with buff, which means he's not playing around. He's trying to do big damn. He ends up tries to fake cast to get a huge frostball. I end up getting back out, so apparently like I thought it was like retail vanish where you vanish and if they attack you, you still gotta like they still have to like attack you one more time. But I guess it's instantly on here. I knew he was gonna instantly come out of block to kill me, so I instantly cheap shot at him. I tricked my guy